Let's bring in Emma James on the other side of the studio now with MediaWatch. Good to see you. You've been looking at the efforts to secure a deal that Angela Merkel says could ease the refugee crisis. Of course, it's all happening at the EU-Turkey summit in Brussels. What have you found online? What have the cartoonists, for instance, made of all this?
Well, the cartoonists have certainly decided who the villain of this piece is, and it is the Turkish president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan. This cartoon is typical of the kind of thing that we're seeing. He's portrayed as a mercenary using his unique position to get what he wants from the EU, in this case, money, with little care for the suffering in Syria that's burning behind him, all the lives of the refugees. And as you can see, he's keeping a tight lock on the dam that's keeping them all from getting into Europe. This cartoon, too, a similar kind of theme. President Erdogan portrayed here as a sultan with Jean-Claude Juncker, the European Commission president, kissing his feet. And if you notice to the right-hand side, you've got a cameraman, but attached to his ankle is a chain, of course, a nod to the ongoing war against independent journalism that President Erdogan is waging.
Erdogan's feet appear to be smelly.
Indeed,
Just an observation.
Just an added insult there. Now, what Amnesty International have to say on this is that we must say no to a bad deal with Turkey. They say, let's not confuse desperation for legality. The very principle of international protection for those fleeing war and persecution is at stake. Now, many publications are trying to really put the human face on the suffering of the refugees still. It is a continuing theme, really. Probably one of the best things and the most moving things that I've seen is in the Guardian newspaper. It's a series of photographs taken by Mohammed Muhaisin, who's documenting the Syrian children of a refugee camp in the Jordanian city of Mafraq. And it's really the simplicity of the accompanying captions that go with these photos that show just how much these children are robbed of the most basic of rights and human experiences and comforts. This is Khalid Rakan. He's 10 years old. I just want to go back to our home in Syria. This one, Omar Suleiman, I want to grow up. He's only 5 years old, but for him, the reality of perhaps not making it to adulthood is certainly one that he can't expect that will definitely happen for him. And this last portrait is a 3-year-old child, Hamad Kadir. And when you look at the photograph of that child, you cannot help but feel that that child has seen and experienced so much that a 3-year-old child never should.
Kids, it's so tragic. One of my kids turned 18 today, and I wish that they can have the childhood that my kids had. Fantastic stuff. Tell us about the controversy here in Paris next, Emma, about a group of MPs, deputies, visiting the Bataclan concert hall, the scene, of course, of a massacre in November.
Yes, it's all part of the parliamentary inquiry into what happened that night, November the 13th. A number of politicians, as you say, visited the venue. One described the concert hall as still bearing the stigmata of that terrible night. Now, what they have said since that visit is that it proved to them it was an effective response by police and security forces. But the word reconstruction was being widely used, and it seemed to anger a lot of people, the idea of these events being reenacted, because, of course, there are so many things that we still don't know about exactly what happened that night. And the families really feel they've been left out of the loop with this one. Elodie Hervé is a French political journalist who was tweeting on this one all day today. She spoke with the mother of one victim, Valentin. She is called Nadine Ribé-Reinhardt, and she said that they are nauseated by what happened today. We still don't know even when our children died, and she accused the politicians of voyeurism. But in response to this, we had this from Sebastian Pietrasanta, who's the spokesperson for the inquiry team. He took to Twitter to explain that this wasn't a reconstruction. A visit with security forces was what they were doing, where they could learn exactly what had happened and how they had reacted on the night. He said, the report that I write will be accurate and show the forces' valour and courage of the victims.
We need to leave it there, Emma. Thank you very much indeed. Emma James with MediaWatch. Marcus Carson, of course, with all the business. Great to see you both. And thank you for watching. Stay with us. More news to come.